Substance use disorder is a public health crisis that impacts our entire community, and solving it requires a community-wide response. It takes collaboration, teamwork, and commitment. The Milwaukee County Family Drug Treatment Court was created with this vision in mind.
Drug Treatment Court is about relationship building, and that's where the impact is ultimately seen. Participants care about their team. I care about the participants and about the team. And that interaction is, I think, what makes the real difference ultimately.
Family Drug Treatment Court is a part of our children's court system, our dependency system. And the primary goal of that system is to ensure safety and permanency for children. So that is always our primary goal in Family Drug Treatment Court as well.
Family Drug Treatment Court is as much about building healthy families as it is about helping parents overcome their substance use disorder. That means the needs of the children are just as important as those of the parent. To help meet those needs of the children, it's important that caregivers have an understanding of the Family Drug Treatment Court process and the critical role they play in helping children navigate these challenges. Family Drug Treatment Court is a Milwaukee County program available to any parent with an open CHIPS case who has completed a substance use disorder assessment and has been identified as someone who would benefit from the treatment. The program is completely voluntary, but requires commitment from the parent to work towards sobriety and recovery. They'll be asked to submit to regular drug and alcohol testing, attend weekly meetings with the treatment court team, and commit to a community-based treatment program.
Yeah, I don't think that the trust it wasn't automatic.
No.
When you walk into a courtroom and that's, what we feel automatically is that shame. Someone's gonna judge me, someone's gonna look down on me, they're gonna look back on my record and see what they see in black and white. And it's not. When you walk in, they want to hear your story. Like, my lawyer's looked at my paperwork, of course, because he wants to give me the best advice that he can. But he also is like, hey, what's going on? What's really happening? How are you doing in treatment? How are your visits? How is your relationship with your sister and your grandma? And, in that moment when I did feel alone, I did feel betrayed, because as somebody in active addiction, if your family member calls CPS on you, that's a hard pill to swallow. But eventually it saved my life, but in that interim, I didn't trust my family. I didn't trust many people around me. And so I leaned on these professional people who told me that they were gonna show up, and then I watched their actions and the follow through. And week in and week out, they were helping me in any area I needed to be helped in. And they were asking those questions and showing up consistently. So growing up, Jocelyn was my best friend. And so, having this strain on our relationship was difficult. I didn't know how we were gonna come out of it. I didn't know what it would look like once Gailey came home. Jocelyn had essentially been a parent to my daughter. And so switching back to Jocelyn being my sister and Jocelyn being Gailey's aunt has taken time. Jocelyn definitely has still a parental role in Gailey's life in some sense because of the responsibility and I'm sure some underlying fears of, relapse happens and things, change and shift. But I think that time heals all. And so trusting and learning how to communicate in a healthy fashion has helped us come back, not even come back, has helped us grow into a different place as sisters.
It's a long process, measured in years rather than weeks, and the road won't always be smooth for the parent as they access the treatment they need. It is important to understand that the parent is struggling with a disease that requires ongoing treatment and, most importantly, support and understanding from those surrounding them. While the parent is evolving through their recovery, your role as a caregiver is likely to evolve as well.
We didn't have this weekly contact where you could just be open with each other about what happened. I am her older sister, and my mom did a lot of shaming throughout her life, and she felt shame. She's an alcoholic. That was what was driving it. Oftentimes when I feel that Robin's going the wrong way, I turn into this shamer, and we have this traumatic bond. She's not hearing me immediately, and I think so what she's saying right now about all those people being open and consistent and being able to just hear her, that was missing. We have that now. We can speak to each other, and I can tell her, I did this, and she's there for me. I'm not sure she still has, we're still building that, but Shame is an awful thing when it lives, and it lives alone in the family. And so, yeah, I think that's really what it brought for you, was just this sense of joy and hope, and that you were, you didn't need to be that hard on yourself.
When a child is removed from their parent's care, the initial assessment worker first looks towards a relative to care for a child, because we would like to keep the child within the family, keep all those traditions together and connections. If that's not possible, there's no safe and appropriate family member, then they will start looking for a foster home, and the child will be in foster care. Foster homes are fully vetted as to their background checks, their health, all that stuff. So that's the process. From the guardian ad litem's perspective, we go in and we check on the homes, make sure they are safe and appropriate, no matter if they're a relative or a foster home. It doesn't matter.
My family I have right now, this is like really the second drug court family. And I'm more so involved with this family because the children are so little. I try to be more of a life coach to their mom. I mean, even if it's like where you feel like there's just nothing left, call me. Like, call me, it's okay. I don't care what time it is, call me. Because I'll wake up and I'll talk to you. I've never been that involved, but I kind of like it because I feel like I want to walk this road with you. Let's keep walking it.
Throughout that process, it's critical that you work to maintain a positive relationship with the parent, that lines of communication remain open, and that you make every effort to learn about and understand the struggles the parent is facing. It won't always be easy, but your ability to stay positive and supportive while the parent gets the treatment and support they need can make a world of difference for the children.
They root for me. I've even asked them to be his godparents because we're so close as a family. Like, I don't want to take Dominic away from them. It's been a blessing. For other caregivers out there, the best thing I would do is say communicate. Communicate with your parents, because it still lets them know they have that power over their child, even though they don't have placement. Try to invite them to outings. Try to invite them to where you guys can all get to know each other, because that's what my foster parents did. They invited us to State Fair, and we did a family day at State Fair with my boyfriend's other children, us, and the baby. And they hung out with us. It was like the best experience ever because they're so amazing. So I would just say communicate. Communicate is the most important thing you can do in a situation like this. Just let them know what's going on with their child. Like, every time Dominic gets a scratch, they'll call me and say, just so you know, Dominic got scratched at daycare. You know, he's got a rash, whatever. They just communicate. They're the best at it.
The caregiver role is such a vital part of the family drug treatment court process. By helping children grow and thrive, and allowing parents the space to commit to their recovery, we can ultimately achieve our goal of reuniting children with their parents and building stronger, healthier families in our community.
They say that, when the mask drops on the airplane, you're supposed to put it on you first. I still am learning that, and she's better at it now. She's having gone through the treatment, and so it really is about us having healed ourselves and coming out of it, and that's not something that we were taught. We were taught don't leave each other behind in a way that was unhealthy, and now we're not leaving each other behind in a way that's healthy for everyone. For me, it wasn't that difficult to wrap my mind around. From the moment I made the call, my goal was for Robin to become the parent I knew she could be. Even though we hadn't seen her as a parent, we didn't know what a parent was, I knew she could be this person. I've always believed so much in my sister. She's held me, and she doesn't always know this, but through the trauma, and some of it she doesn't remember. I was older. Her just being there took away my anxiety, and so I loved her so much, and I still do. To this day, there's so much love. It's just there.
The biggest thing to the foster families is get to know the situation. At minimum, build a rapport with them, because whether that kid goes back to their biological parents or they don't, you're gonna want to learn about them, because when that kid grows up, a lot of the things are gonna stem from them. The issues that they have, whether they get their stuff together or they don't, get to know the parents. Sometimes the people, when they come into the system, are not the people they are when they come out of it. They flat out tell me, they're like, we don't recognize you if we looked back from when we first met you. We met you in a courtroom, and that's all we met, comparatively to now, like, they're family.
The family I had before this one, when the girls were reunified, we had a big barbecue, we grilled, we had lots of kids, we invited other foster families, and that reunification party was nice. Gave them a big cake. They didn't know that I even bought a cake. It's like, we were reunified. And it was just really nice to know everybody came out to support her. It's really nice.